Figuring out the best place for you to live around Charleston can be a little confusing if you're not familiar with the area. Then you start hearing names like James Island, Johns Island, Daniel Island, Sullivan's Island, and then you've got Hanahan and Goose Creek and Moncks Corner and Mount Pleasant. And if you don't know where they are and what they offer, how can you pick the best place to live? So in this video, we're going to do a complete overview of the lay of the land and the geography so you know exactly where things are and a little bit about what they offer. So let's get into this and jump over to the map here. All right, so let's take a look at this map here, but real quick, I just want to say if you are new here, welcome. My name is Bill. I am your favorite YouTubing Charleston realtor. And if you're coming back, thank you and welcome back. So let's get right into this. So here, as you can see, this is the entire what we call the greater Charleston area. We're going to start at the peninsula. We're going to work our way all around, in and out, talk about average home prices and what places have to offer. So as we get in here, let's start down here. This here, when someone says the Charleston Peninsula, this is the Charleston Peninsula. Now the Charleston Peninsula is split into like two different areas here. You have inside the crosstown and outside the crosstown. So this here, 17 here, this is the crosstown. So you've got the areas below and the areas above. The areas below are going to be where you find like south of Broad, the French Quarter, Radcliffe Borough, Harleston Village, these older, more historic neighborhoods. And down here, you know, your average price for a single family home is going to be $2.1 million. Whereas when you go outside the peninsula up here, that's going to drop down to about $960,000. Now, yes, still pretty expensive, but that is the premium you're going to pay for being on the peninsula. As you can see, we've got a bunch of different neighborhoods that are going to be in here. I've got another channel all about living in historic Charleston. So I'm working on a video that is going to go over all 13 neighborhoods. So as soon as that is posted, I will link it below so that you can go and check that out and check out all 13 neighborhoods of the Charleston Peninsula. If you're unfamiliar with Charleston, this is King Street. This is going to be your main commercial district right here. It goes right down the spine, and then you've got all of your neighborhoods. You see there's a bunch of little parks. This is the hospital district here. Now, we zoom out a little bit. Still part of the city of Charleston is an area called West Ashley. So this here is the Ashley River, and this is West Ashley, the area west of the Ashley River. Now here we do define this in two different geographic areas, especially when we're talking about housing and pricing, and that's inside 526 and outside 526. Inside is going to be your older, more established neighborhoods. And your average price in here is going to be around $740,000. And then out here, that's going to drop to about $530,000. Now, what we want to look at in here, so this here is 61. You've got 7 and 17. These are going to be your main commercial districts here, with one of the most popular places here is Avondale. Nice historic neighborhood. There's a lot of like cool little like restaurants and bars right down there in Avondale. When you get out here, you get to where you see Target here. This is the Citadel Mall. So you're going to have a lot of big box stores there. Costco is over here. I just had a client and they moved into West Ashley. And one of their criteria was to be close to a Costco. And I felt that. I really did. And yes, I love being close to Costco. As you get further out here, you have Bees Ferry. Now, this is an up-and-coming area. There's a lot going on out here. I actually did another video that I will link at the end of this one. There is a 3,000-acre development that is in the works for up here. So I'm not going to go into detail on this one because I already did a full video about it. So I will link it at the end of this video and down below in the description. So that's going to be your West Ashley area. Then let's head south a little bit. We're going to go to where I call home, and that is James Island right here. So James Island is halfway between Charleston and Folly Beach. It is this area that goes east of the Stono River and right in here. So you can see it is a very well-established area. There's not much brand new construction neighborhoods going in. There's a couple here, and then one going in out here, but that's about it. Most of the land here is, for the most part, fully developed. You're going to find a lot of brick ranch homes because it is an older area, and the average price here is $822,000. So you're going to have those brick ranches. You're going to have these waterfront homes, some newer neighborhoods over the past 20 years. You've got the James Island County Park over here, which is a huge park with miles of walking and biking trails. They have a fishing pier, a climbing wall, a campground, a huge dog park. If you've got a dog, this is one of the best places to take your dogs to the dog park. And then up over here, we'll zoom in a little bit. This is the Charleston Municipal Golf Course. It's going to be right here, right by Riverland Terrace. There's a boat landing and a playground up here. And this is a drawbridge that never fails. If you are, running late, that drawbridge will be up. It's just how it works. Folly Road here is going to be that main commercial thoroughfare where you're going to find there's a Walmart, grocery stores, not too many big box stores other than Walmart. If you want a Target or like a Kohl's or anything like that, you're not going to find that on James Island. That's going to be out on this side of West Ashley. Not too far. I was actually out there this morning for some stuff. It's about a 10 to 15 minute drive, so it's not bad at all. Now, next we're going to head a little bit west, and that is to Johns Island. So this is where I previously used to live. Johns Island is going to be the area west of the Stono here. Comes all the way down here, kind of curves back. And this is Wadmalaw. We'll talk about that at the end. At the end of this video, we're going to go through some of the more rural areas. We're talking about more residential areas right now. Now, Johns Island is a lot rural, but it is an up-and-coming area. There's a lot of brand new construction going on Johns Island. It's growing very quickly. That does play into it having quite a bit of traffic because the roads are still two-lane roads everywhere, one lane one way, one lane the other, especially getting on and off the island during rush hour. So if you're thinking of Johns Island, something to take into consideration that if you do have to travel during rush hour every day, it might not be the best place for you if you don't like sitting in traffic. But if you have off hours or you work from home, this is a great place to live. Because of all the new construction, the average price here is $775,000. So let's zoom in a little bit here. So this is Maybank Highway. This is where you're going to see a lot of the commercial developments going on. Now, right now, there's not too much out there, but there is a lot that is happening and a lot in the works. So just know, if you're going out here, you do have to leave the island for most things. Right now, there's 2 grocery stores, one right here and one right here. And then as you travel down towards Kiawah Seabrook, which we'll get to shortly, there is a place called Freshfields Village right here. There's another grocery store and some restaurants and some shopping down there that does cater to these more high-end gated resort communities. But it's a really cool place. They do some like car shows and stuff down there quite often. And then what they're trying to do on Johns Island is keep the developments in here in what they call the urban growth boundary. And then all of this here, keep that more rural and farmland. So I said Kiawah Seabrook. So while we're over here, let's just zoom in down here. So these are both resort gated communities. There are full-time residents as well. So don't get me wrong. They're not fully resorts per se. So starting with Kiawah, because it is the most famous of the two, there is the Ocean Course down here, which is the golf course where they've held the PGA Championship a few times. There are 5, 6 golf courses over here. It is this whole area over here. Average price, $3 million. It is very expensive to live out on Kiawah. There is the resort, the Kiawah resort down here. You can stay right on the beach. It is gorgeous down there, but it is expensive. Most of the golf courses are public, so even if you're not staying down there, you can get a tee time to play them. I've played a few, and they're top-notch. I have not played the Ocean Course. And then over here we have Seabrook, little lower average price of 1.6 million. Now it is a smaller area over here. There are 2 golf courses on Seabrook and the Seabrook Beach Club, which is down here. Again, right up in here where we'll zoom in other way. Both are serviced by this not residential, but this commercial district here, which is Freshfields Village. So you don't have to go all the way into here or into Charleston or anything to get what you need. You can just head right out here. But no, if you do want to get into Charleston or anywhere, this is a good 40-minute drive to get from out, or longer, to get from out here all the way up into Charleston. No, so let's say you make that drive. Now let's head to the other side of Charleston. And that's one of the most popular places people are looking to live, and that is Mount Pleasant. So that is the area here east of the Cooper and the Wando rivers. All of this is Mount Pleasant. One of the reasons why it is very desirable for a lot of people, there's a lot of master plan communities on niche.com and greatschools.org. This is has some of the top rated schools in the area according to those websites. So a lot of people try to get into Mount Pleasant because of that and its proximity to downtown and 2 of the area's beaches. So we have Sullivan's Island and Isle of Palms, and then we'll get to the 3rd public beach right after this. But Mount Pleasant, average price in Mount Pleasant is 1.2 million. Now, the closer you get towards Charleston, and this is the Ravenel Bridge right here, the more expensive it does get. Because it is growing, it has extremely large master planned communities. Especially up here, you have like Dunes West is huge. I think there's like 6,000 homes or something crazy like that. There's Rivertown, there's Park West, there's Carolina Park. There's some smaller neighborhoods over here like Oyster Point. You have Brickyard Plantation. There's a lot going on down here in Mount Pleasant. And because they don't have much land left, we're seeing neighborhoods expand up here into the Wando area. Again, that's a rural area that we'll get into later. 17, of course, is going to be your main commercial thoroughfare down here. When you go down Coleman, Shem Creek is right here. It's a really cool place where you can eat and have some drinks right on the waterfront. And then Patriots Point is the golf course right here. It's one of the only golf courses that is right on the harbor, which is pretty cool. It's more of a link style course if that's what you're into. So yes, that is Mount Pleasant. Now, at the end of Mount Pleasant, I said you have access to 2 of the area's beaches, and that's Sullivan's Island and Isle of Palms. Let's start with Isle of Palms. You have an average price of 2.6 million. Now, of the 3 beaches, Isle of Palms, Sullivan's Island, and Folly Beach, this is going to be the most resort-like. Now, Wild Dunes is down here with 2 golf courses. This is an actual resort here at the end of the island. Some people do own private homes in there. Most of them rent them out. And then there's ones owned by the resort. The rest is private homes. A lot of people do rent them out. Some people do live here year-round. Now, right when you get off the Isle of Palms connector, there is like a little downtown area of Isle of Palms where you're going to find grocery stores and restaurants. And right along the beach, there's a lot of dining and drinking and some little like beach shops, whatnot. There's a Isle of Palms park right here, the recreation department over here. So it's the largest, I believe, of the islands, and there's just kind of a lot going on. It's the only of the 3 of the public beaches that has its own grocery store. So then we get over to Sullivan's Island. This is the highest price in the area, and it's the most exclusive because they do not allow short-term rentals. So everything is either a long-term rental, monthly rental. There's no short-term rentals. So you don't get those style of homes being built out here. Most of them are built to be lived in, and they are large custom homes. Because of that, you have an average price of $5.2 million. So it is very exclusive out here. So that's what you've got down here. Now, when you get in, you have, I need to zoom in a little bit better. You have Middle Street is right here, and that's where you're going to find the restaurants and the bars and the shopping here. Obstinate Daughter, Sullivan's Island Fish Camp, Co-op Froze and Sandwiches is down there, Poe's Tavern. All of the beach here, just like on all three of these, is public. So you can just park and walk to the beach at any one on Sullivan's Island. They call them stations. On the other ones, they call them roads. So all public. So a lot of people you pick your beach here, and once you pick that beach, it is your favorite beach, and you don't like to go to any of the others. And with that, my favorite beach, let me zoom out and get here, it's Folly Beach, because I live right close to it. I was actually married on Folly Beach down on 6th Street here. So Folly Beach is the most beachy of all of them. It's your little like one stoplight surf town, essentially, where you have Center Street comes in. This is where you're going to find all of your little locally owned bars and restaurants and surf shops. There's a little old hotel down here, and then it just spreads out. There's a county park down here, so if you have a Charleston County Park Pass, you can park here, or on Isle of Palms Park you can as well, for free to get to the beach, and they have facilities, super nice. Otherwise, just park wherever. I suggest like coming down like 7, 8, 9 blocks either way and going to the beach there. You're gonna, unless you want to be like super busy, but with the pier and everything right here, it gets super, super busy. This is a mix of residents and rentals. I'm going to link to this too, because I did a video about, they did a cap on short-term rentals and short-term rental permits here that's really screwing with the island. I'm going to link that down below for you, because if you are looking for a short-term rental beach property, Isle of Palms is probably going to be your best bet because of the restrictions at Folly Beach and Sullivan's Island. All right, so let's head back over here. Again, remember we were at Mount Pleasant. Let's go north of Mount Pleasant, and we're going to have this Wando Cainhoy area, which kind of encompasses all around here. And we're seeing a lot of people move into here because the prices are slightly lower than Mount Pleasant, not Mount Pleasant schools, but you're still relatively close to everything that Mount Pleasant has to offer in here. And our next stop after this, Daniel Island. So up in here, it's still growing. So you have like Point Hope neighborhood over here, which is a lot of new construction. There's a lot of new construction going over here. Because of this new construction, it does bring that average price point up to about $890,000. Now let's head down to Daniel Island. Now, Daniel Island is this area all in here. It is a definite master planned community where right in here you're going to have the Credit One Stadium, which is where they have concerts and the women's tennis tournament. And all around that is pretty much the center of Daniel Island. There's a Publix grocery store. There's a lot of shopping and restaurants right in there. There's the Bishop England High School is over here. And then Daniel Island is separated into a lot of smaller sub-neighborhoods throughout here. Now, the average price on Daniel Island is $2.4 million. That is partly because over here where the Daniel Island Club is, there's a 2 golf courses. I believe it is a Tom Fazio and a Reese Jones course. It's the only place where you can play out of the same clubhouse for those two course architects for their courses. So for you golf nerds out there. Well, in Daniel Island Park, your average price point there is 3.7. So just know that if you do want to live on Daniel Island, especially single family homes, you are going to pay quite the premium to get in there. So then from Daniel Island, we're going to head over 526, and that's going to take us into North Charleston. So North Charleston goes from the neck of the peninsula here up around 526 and then up this way. So right all around in here. It encompasses the airport, the Joint Base Charleston, Boeing is all right there in the middle. And one of the hottest spots is this Park Circle area. This is growing drastically. They're redoing a lot of the old naval base that was over here into this huge project that's going to be a great little urban center. And it's just, this whole area right here is just going crazy. Within Park Circle, they have the country's largest all-inclusive playground. So if you've got kids, it is definitely a place to check them out. You've got the outlets over here. There's a lot going on right here. That's where the North Charleston Coliseum is, and the Performing Arts Center is all in there. Average price in North Charleston, now we start getting a little bit lower because as we are getting away from downtown and away from the beaches, things get more affordable. This average price is $380,000 here in North Charleston. And you've just got a lot going on from Park Circle, then the airport. You've got the outlets here. There's Northwoods Mall up here. There's just a lot of neighborhoods and shopping and just everywhere, especially along like Rivers Avenue up in here. So next we're going to head to Hanahan. Now most people really haven't heard of Hanahan. It is a very small area just north of Park Circle here, and it goes up over this Goose Creek Reservoir, and there's a little bit on the other side over here. Hanahan's pretty much just like a little bedroom community. There's a little shopping center here with a grocery store, but other than that, it's mainly just residential. But it's a great location because you're easy to get to 26. You're right there by Park Circle, super close to the airport. And the average price is $440,000. So zoom in here. When we get up in here, we have the main neighborhood is Tanner Plantation. It's a huge master planned community right here off of Tanner Ford Boulevard. This is the little entrance where the grocery store is. So then right next to Hanahan, we have the Naval Weapons Station right here, or the nuke school, some people call it. That is this big gray area here. So Hanahan is directly between there and Joint Base Charleston and the airport here. So we see a lot of people that if they're moving here for the military, first, thank you for your service. This is a great spot for them, is right here in Hanahan, because you do have easy access to both, as well as the next place we're going to talk about, which is just north of Hanahan, and that is Goose Creek. So Goose Creek is pretty much a former bedroom community. It takes up this whole area all in here. And I say former bedroom community because recently, over the past maybe like 20 years, it's really come into its own and it's become a town of its own. So much so like we're seeing a lot of new construction there. I just talked to a builder friend and they are in the process of getting a 600 to 700 home neighborhood built in Goose Creek. So they said they'll probably announce it beginning of next year. So that's something you're looking for. Like shoot me an email or anything, and we can get you on the list to get some information as soon as they drop that. And really, like if there's any of these areas that you're looking for houses in, or you've got a house to sell in, please reach out. I've got all my contact information below, including a link where you can jump right on my calendar. You can see what time I have available, and you can just schedule a call right on my calendar. I make it super easy for you. So let's go back to Goose Creek here. So within Goose Creek, this area here, now former bedroom community, but now we're seeing just about anything you could need. There's grocery stores, Lowe's, Walmart, restaurants, shopping. It's all right there. Plus you're like super close to Summerville, which we'll get to talk about in a minute. And the average price in Goose Creek is $350,000. So that's this area all right in here. Still gives you pretty easy access to get to 26, to get down into Charleston or to the beaches over here. So pretty easy access to everything in Goose Creek. Now from Goose Creek, we're going to head a little bit west, and this is Summerville. I would say probably the second most popular place to move next to Mount Pleasant. Most popular if you take pricing into consideration, because it is significantly less expensive than Mount Pleasant, but still has those highly rated schools on niche.com and greatschools.org. So we see a lot of people moving here because of those highly rated schools. Now, the average price in Mount Pleasant is $433,000. So Mount Pleasant actually covers all three counties: Dorchester, Little and Charleston, and Berkeley. So right here off of 26, you're going to see like the main commercial area. This is your big box area where you've got a Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, there's a Target, Kohl's, Best Buy, and this is Azalea Square right in here. That's where you're going to find all of that. Right over here, we'll get into Nexton here in a minute, but the Nexton Square is where you're going to find a lot of the restaurants from downtown moving up into Summerville. So you don't even have to drive all the way into Charleston to get to Hall's, Page's Ochre Grill, Poogan's Porch, Taco Boy, Vicious Biscuit. Like, that is all right in here for you. They're bringing that up into Summerville, into Nexton, because this is where people are moving. It's fantastic. Now, if you go down Alt 17 North Main Street here, we're going to get right down here across the tracks. We have Hutchinson Square, which is like the historic district of Summerville. It's right in here, right where it says Summerville. In here, you're going to find a lot of your like mom and pop stores. There's a little coffee shop, community theater, brewery. Just a really cool area if you're looking to kill some time. Head over here. You're going to also be able to walk through these neighborhoods where you're going to see all the historic homes in Summerville. This is going to be where you're going to see the Flower Town Festival, the Sweet Tea Festival. The Farmers Market in Summerville is right around here on the weekends. This is kind of where everything does happen in the town of Summerville, is right here. Then when you get to the other side of Summerville, into the Berkeley County side, it's where you have, this is Nexton, is all in here. Former #1 master plan community in the entire United States, as voted by builders. It's a really cool neighborhood, with the Midtown being the main focal point there. Now, your entry point into here is going to be in the 400s for the lower, smaller homes, and up over $1 million. And then up here, this big area that you see, this is Cane Bay. It's about 20 plus neighborhoods that make up Cane Bay. They've got their own schools in here. So that is kind of all of your Summerville. It stretches from here all the way to here. Super long kind of oval here. Now over here we see Moncks Corner. Now up here, Moncks Corner is a little rural, kind of a little country, but can be cheaper than other areas. Now the average price in Moncks Corner is brought up by the new construction at $390,000 to get into Moncks Corner, because you've got some houses in neighborhoods down in here, Fox Bank Plantation and everything, where, you know, those prices are going to be a little bit higher because of the new construction premium that you're going to pay. But if you really don't want to be, or you don't care to be like close to the beaches, but you want to be close to water, then, you know, up here gives you easy access right into Lake Moultrie. So if that's something you're looking for, like, Moncks Corner could be for you. And then also Ridgeville over here, which is our next area. Now, these are both good areas if you're working in that industrial sector that's coming in, like Volvo. They've got their plant there. They're getting ready to add to that plant to produce the EV. Across the street, Redwood Materials is going in, where they're recycling EV batteries. So we've got that going on. I think they're both bringing in like 3,000 jobs, something like that. Walmart just opened a giant distribution plant up here. There's just a lot of industrial stuff going on up here, which means a lot of new construction, which takes that average price up here to about $450,000. But these neighborhoods drastically cut down your commute. If that's one of the places, like if you're moving here for one of those, like Ridgeville is the area in Moncks Corner, that's where you're going to want to look, because you're not going to have to fight traffic to get to work. So your quality of life up here in terms of not having a commute or not that long of a commute is going to be amazing. And you're just a hop, skip, and a jump into Summerville to get everything you need. I'm going to tell you, Ridgeville doesn't really have much. Moncks Corner has a little bit more, but it's still a small town, small southern town. Okay, now I told you we'd get into the rural areas. Let's zoom out here. So rural areas, I did not do pricing on the rural areas, say that 5 times fast, for a few reasons. The main one is there's not that many sales, and the sales are all over the place. And what I mean by that is from rundown homes to smaller homes on a lot of acreage, to new construction, to custom homes on a lot of acreage or a little acreage or waterfront. And because the data set is so small, it just kind of skews those numbers. So just know that like your prices around here and up here are going to vary greatly depending on what you're looking for. Because like down here in like Waimala Island, Maggot, Hollywood, you've got all of these like waterways. So you can get on the water and spend millions of dollars, or you could be inland and spend a couple $100,000. So there's just a lot going on down there. So what we are seeing is that. So over here, again, you've got Wadmalaw, which is just off of Johns Island. So that gives you close access to Johns Island and into Charleston. Up here, you have Awanda, which gives you easy access into Mount Pleasant. Now, it's not Mount Pleasant schools, but it is close enough to Mount Pleasant that you have access to everything that it offers. When we get up here into Hugie, yes, it's pronounced Hugie, not Huger. On Highway 41, we're seeing some builders come in and they're building neighborhoods. I've got a client building in there right now, and for what they're paying here, I'll tell you, they're paying under $600, and it has a 3-car garage on maybe 3/4 of an acre, something like that, half an acre. That in Mount Pleasant would be double that price. So they're still down the road, right here, down the road into Mount Pleasant. The family lives down here, but they're just a little bit up the road. And you know what? It takes them out of that hustle and bustle. So if you don't want that hustle and bustle, like Hugie, Awanda, when we come over here, Waimala, Maggot, Hollywood, Ravenel, like these are all great areas to look at. So there you have it, folks, a complete overview of everything Charleston to help you get that lay of the land if you're looking to move here and you just kind of don't understand it. I hope this helped. Here's that video here that I was talking to you about earlier, so go check that one out next. And if you have any questions or you're ready to talk about making a move, go ahead and reach out, shoot me an email at info@livinginchs.com, or again, click that link below and you can jump right on my calendar and schedule that call. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.